I mean, yeah, back then, as far as I know, like romance and like finding love wasn't really a thing, right? It's like most of the time, um, people don't marry because of love. It's just for political reasons, at least for noble people anyway. I imagine if you're just a peasant, it's not necessarily political marriage, but rather necessity. Anyway, this may be sudden, but I must confess that I made a grave mistake. My transgression is that I was unable to completely predict where this path we were traveling led. My hands were full of dealing with my immediate day-to-day tasks, so I could do naught but pray there was happiness waiting in the future. Happiness for everyone who lived within the Rose Manor. But I am but a mere maid. There are limits to what I am allowed to do. And furthermore, it was not my place to offer her my hand. Roads, such as the one we were following, have a way of diverging with little warning. And if you do not turn the wheel exactly right at those sudden forks, you may end up somewhere horribly off course. I was aware of that fact, which is why I thought what I did was for the best. It's happening again. I made sure the door is closed, but I can sense someone standing there. Someone watching me. Footsteps. Looking down at me. I want to open my eyes, but I can't do it. Curses. You're just gonna leave without doing anything, aren't you? Hurry up and get out of here. Free me from this torture. I think Mel just he has like a recurrent case of sleep paralysis, it seems. Which is not fun. No, tonight they're on my bed now, looking down on me. My neck. What? I can't speak, I can't move. These cold fingers. That soft breath. What? Nanny? Why? I can move my body, but that's not important right now. Okay, what's happening? Something's happening. You smell of roses. They look different in the CG. The scent of the world far removed from ours. He made to gasp at the sight before him, only to realize he could not. The pressure of her cold fingertips wrapped around his throat robbed him almost entirely of the ability to breathe. Why? He silently mouthed the word. For that moment at least, her melancholic ruby eyes were focused wholly on the flaxen-haired young man. In them glowed a faint flicker of willpower and a continuously burning agitation that rose her to action. I told you to stop being so kind to me. Why? It'll be all over soon. Please don't make any noise. Okay, Why? To put an end to this family. You're my only... Why? Are you shaking? What? Upon hearing Mel's words, the strength drained from her slender fingers. He had not been questioning why she would do such a thing. There was, of course, a trace of bewilderment visible in his eyes, but he did not shout, nor did he tremble in fear. He instead expressed concern for the young woman who looked like a cornered rabbit. I'm not shaking. You are. I can see it. As he slowly regained his breath, Mel's voice too grew clearer. Conversely, the red-eyed girl's grew progressively more faint and raspy. You're not doing this because you genuinely want to. There's some other reason. This is what I desire. Have you been to my room before? Yeah, maybe that's why he's been having nightmares. You have. Hey, so we're like how you say it? We're even now because Mel also peeked on her and she was peeping on him, right? Anyway, I'm sorry. Well, I'll be down. Tell me, why are you shaking? You're not putting any pressure on my neck. You're gonna choke me properly. You gotta use the pillow. You're gonna smother me. And why haven't you run? Because I cannot fathom why you will do this, so I'm not afraid. You hate me so deeply you want me dead? You despise me to the point you'd be willing to take my life in your own hands. No, I don't. See? Like I said, there's another reason. If it isn't because you detest me, then tell me, why is it? I'm sorry. I will leave your room now. I will do my best not to bother you any further, so please forget anything ever happened. Oh, you still tried to assassinate me, lady. Do you think I'm just gonna say okay and let you go? You're gonna ruin your silent assassin ranking. You white-haired lady. Why can't you tell me the reason? I'm sorry. Alright, then I'll try and guess. What? It has something to do with your lineage. You're troubled by it somehow, am I right? I thought so. How do you know about that? Well, the priest of the church told me he has seen you before. He also told me a little about your origin. But that's all I know. The only difference between us is social rank. I don't know what would cause you to do this, but please tell me who you really are. Tell me why you came to the mansion and why father allowed you to be a maid. I haven't said anything to mother or father. If you're hiding the truth from them, they still don't know. But I want to. I won't get mad at you or have you punished. I'll even swear to God if you like. I want to be the prince who whisks you away. I want to be like the prince who rescued the girl from the dark mansion and showed her the world. I can show you the world. Isn't that a song? Disney. I know I'm not that dependable, but I want to help you. It was only in this situation when, she's trying to murder you, are you finally, I guess, spilling the beans, in terms of how you feel about her, I guess. That's how it works, right? Why do you show me such compassion? Why do you treat me like this? I have my hand around your neck. Why? I thought it would be obvious. Or have I not expressed myself well enough? I love you. Even though we just barely met, I guess we had some casual conversations here and there, but otherwise. Every time you push away, it crushes me. I didn't even know my heart could feel such distress. If you dislike me, I don't want to be with me, then, well, I'll just have to live with that, as much as it may hurt. But if you have some other reason, some weight on your shoulders that you can't share with anyone else, tell me. I want to help you. There are other options. Things we can do about your... No, that's not it. Huh? I've tried to hate you so many times. So yes, there's more to it than just social status. But I can't do it. I couldn't make myself do it. What do you mean? I had so many chances, but I couldn't do anything. She spoke in a stifled voice, as if every word had to fight to escape her lips. She appeared so fragile, so precarious looking down at him that it seemed as though if a gust of wind here were to whisk through the room, it would blow her away completely. Her pale fingers were trembling, like she had tried to squeeze them again and failed. However, her hand did not pull away from his still slender neck. Her hand is so cold. He did not challenge her, but simply kept his eyes fixed on hers, as if carefully watching to see what she would do next. I'll say it as many times as I must. I love you, and I wouldn't be able to accept losing you without knowing anything. So please, tell me the reason. I'll see to it that you're taken care of. Those are the words of a man of means, Lord Mel. Of someone blessed enough to have pity for others. You are a foolish young man. You know nothing. You know nothing, Jon Snow. But the greatest fool of all is myself. Okay, that's kind of cliche, but anyway. If you agree to punish me, I will talk. That's kinky. Anyway, tell me. Her long white hair and his soft flaxen hair touched. For just the briefest of moments, it appeared in the darkness as though they had fused together. The white-haired girl, having finally gathered the courage, began to slowly tell her tale. On the night of the storm, I paid a visit to Rose Manor, this mansion. Okay, is this gonna be a long story? Could you get off of me? You're kind of heavy? Nah. My father and I were always on the move, traveling across the land by foot, so it was only recently that we heard rumors of Rose Manor. There are several reasons we couldn't stay in one place. First is my unusual appearance. People often find the color of my skin or eyes disconcerting. So after living in one place for long enough, unsettling rumors would begin to spread, forcing us to leave. Another reason was my father's line of work. He painted pictures for a living, but he had trouble finding a patron, so he had to work day to day. When he was no longer able to find work in the city, we would move. We were birds that migrated without a flock. When we arrived at this town, my father was exhausted and weak. That is when we learned of Rhodes Manor, and the family who dwelled within it. Rhodes is a name my father could never forget. He was long ago a painter in service of the Rhodes family. Okay. Is it the painter that drew the painting of Mel and Nellie? Maybe? Hold on. Your father was an artist here. Yes. It wasn't really... He was not a very good artist, though. You know, if you remember the CG of the painting. Anyway. Yes, it was before I was born, so you probably don't remember, Lord Mel. So you knew about us before you came here. For as long as I can remember, I've known the name Rhodes. My father was chased from your house, just because they liked something he painted. Okay, is this revenge? Having failed the Rhodes family, no one else would become his patron. Just as a good reputation spreads, so too does a bad one. Branded once as a failure, no one will take you in ever again. You nobles throw your parties and spread gossip about this painter and that sculptor. The rose you try to give me is an example of that. Goddamn rich snobs. You know what? Actually, my non-canon imagination of what the white-haired girl was might be actually a bit true. She does hate these rich snobs. Anyway, the rose you try to give me is an example of that. It was certainly crafted with skill, but the jeweler is only known because some aristocrats spoke highly of him. My father's paintings were no less skillful. His was a talent that could not be easily imitated, but no one was willing to separate the art from the artist. The Rhodes family stole everything from my father, but even thrown out onto the streets, his only skill was painting. That was all he could do to earn a living. What little money we had for food he gave to me. He did anything he could to ensure my survival, even at the expense of his own well-being. My father passed away in this town. Up until his last breath, he was only ever concerned about me. He held me in his arms and ran his fingers through my hair, an apologetic look on his face. If I had a normal appearance, I'm sure life would have been much easier. You know, I was talking earlier about how the whole having pale skin thing was actually desirable, but I guess in this story, I guess in this universe, not so much. I guess it's just really weird. I assume. Oh, I'm so weird. It's such a pale skin, white hair, such a weirdo. Even though in anime technically that's always an indication of a beautiful character usually. Anyway, he was always telling me how sorry he was for making life so hard, even though it's not his fault I look like this. I disdain the Rhodes family for putting my father through such hardship. I imagine you were still living in decadence, acting as though nothing had ever happened. No, you wouldn't even care about the fate of one simple painter. Our lives meant nothing to you, and so I sought to bring misfortune upon you. And that's why you tried to kill me. In truth, I had wanted to take the master's life, but your father spent so much time outside the mansion. And so, you're right. If they lost me, it would put my family in a very difficult position. That is the whole of my tale. You now know about my father and how I feel about you. Having told you the blackness of my heart, I cannot go on living like nothing has changed. Please, give me punishment. Again, that sounds kinky. Why? Why would you have me put the one I love through any more misery? I am not fit for your affection. Not only because I am not aristocratic, but because every time I spoke with you, I did so holding this darkness in my heart. My darkness. Does that not unnerve you? In the end, it was my family's actions that caused you so much suffering. With that your father was still alive, perhaps I could have done something. I'm sorry. And besides, you hesitated. You didn't actually kill me. So it's fine, right? It was just attempted murder. What am I even to punish you for? As you said, you had countless opportunities, but you cannot bring yourself to do it. Tell me, why couldn't you kill me? If it's because I've given you enough reason to have even the slightest bit of interest in me, nothing was as I envisioned it. What? I assumed the residents of Rose Manor would be cold, people who believed that wealth and rank mattered above all. But on the night of the storm, the mistress was the first one to extend her hand to me. I arrived at the mansion disguised as a beggar. Actually, disguise is not the right word, as many nights I only survive on the generosity of others. The mistress did not send me away when she saw me. Quite the opposite, she took me in as a servant. So that was Mother's doing. I could scarcely believe she would invite a stranger to her home, that she would treat a stranger with such compassion. I thought perhaps she knew who my father was, but I had never met any of you before, so she must simply be that kind-hearted of a woman. And the mistress continued to treat me with kindness, despite my disquieting appearance and the darkness in my heart. In time, I began to grow less and less sure of myself. Oh, was what I meant to do truly right? Were the things I felt truly justified? But it was a certain fact that my father was here and that he had been chased out. So I decided to take your life, to put an end to everything before I wavered any further. And then, you were too kind to me. It's all your fault, Baka. Because you laugh with such affection, because you gave me smiles like that, because you say the things you say. I'm sorry. No, don't apologize. I'm so happy to hear that. Despite, the unusual circumstances. Yes, you, like, on top of me, having this hand on my neck. Could you, like, get off now? I don't know. You're still trying to kill me, I feel like. Please don't say you want to leave. Don't ask me to punish you. I'm not really into that, I couldn't do anything for your father, but at least allow me to do something for the daughter you care for so dearly. You are far too kind-hearted. I'd be happy with you around. You can become a real aristocrat. Huh? There are families that would be willing to adopt you, especially knowing it would bring them ties to the Rose family in the near future. Are you saying, as long as you're okay with it, of course. Yeah, as long as you're okay with it. I know you try to kill me and everything, but can you get, like, I'm implying that we're getting married or something, right? I don't understand how you could possibly say that. I have my hand around your neck even as we speak, isn't it like... Isn't it like getting tired then, just like on my neck the whole time? Wouldn't you get, what's the word? I don't know what the word is. But it's like when you're sitting for, like, sore, I guess. I'm not really sore, but anyway, it's like when you're sitting for a long time, then don't you get, like, you want to, like, move around a little bit? It seems reasonable enough to me. I'm desperately looking for some way to not have to lose you. But I couldn't. I don't know any etiquette or social customs. How could I? You can learn all that. You're pretty and naturally graceful, you'll do just fine, because if you were ugly, you wouldn't have this chance. You are such an aristocrat, Lord Mel. What? The way you come up with compliments so easily. Only for you. Nellie says my poetry has as much charm as a dissertation. I don't understand theater, it puts me to sleep. You laughed. Thank goodness. Well, keep smiling, you don't have to stop. A smile on your face is a smile on mine. No matter how deep the darkness has taken root in your heart, it can always be removed. Darkness. I don't know, whenever anyone says darkness, the darkness in my heart, I just think of Kingdom Hearts. But anyway, I believe people are capable of forging their own futures. What do you say we go to the theater sometime? I promise I won't sleep through it, as long as you don't try to murder me while we're watching. At the private theater, we can get seats at the far end of the second floor, so we don't have to stand. They would be pretty lavish seats, and it'll give you a chance to experience the double life. But please, don't be shy. I can have clothes prepared for you. I'll ask one of the maids who can keep a secret. Say, the one with the black hair. He kinda scares me, though. I don't know what I'm supposed to say. How could you show such compassion for me? I try to inflict harm upon you. Am I allowed to feel such joy? Because, because you're like a pretty anime girl. Again, if you were not like a pretty anime girl, you would probably not have this conversation in the first place. I'm gonna be honest. Like, if you're like an old man or something, imagine if it was, instead of this girl, it was like her father instead that lived, and it was, him pretending to be a butler, and then him trying to, anyway. For every day you suffered a day of happiness. That's how it has to be. So stand by my side. He softly whispered the girl's name. For several long moments, her lips trembled in trepidation, but in time she squeezed them together and made a smile. Her name, eh? We don't know her name though, but I guess the characters do. He wrapped his arm around her unbelievably slender, frail frame, holding her tight in an affectionate embrace. Mel approached me the next day. He explained to me the course of the events and asked me to dress her up more beautiful than any other noble girl had ever been. She was already a very pretty girl, so even without much effort on my part, simply putting her in the dress, she radiated beauty. I was quite partial to her smile, so I agreed to help, thinking that if it would lead to their happiness, I could not ask for anything more. I never anticipated what would happen next, though. Perhaps my hopes were unreasonable after all. Okay. Fade to black, by the way. I assume they did some other activities on the bed. That is not murder, let's just say. Anyway, how do you feel about this, Nellie? Now, Nellie, you love the theater, so don't look so cross. Nellie was out with a man other than her brother that evening, a rare sight indeed, as she was quite clearly in a foul mood. I will not stand for this. That I should have to marry a man as disagreeable as Arthur. It's unthinkable. The young man at her side was Nellie's fiancé, selected by her parents. He doesn't even get a spark of his own, so therefore he's not even an important main character, really. On any other occasion, she would have snubbed an invitation from any man who was not Mel, but she had little say in the matter. She was, for a lack of a better word, forced to go out of him. And oh, how furiously she had fought against it. She had shoved aside the Abigail trying to fasten her corset, locked herself in her room, and sobbed for quite some time. It required the combined efforts of several of us to get her ready and out the door for her date. Come now, you should at least pretend you're enjoying yourself. Or do you want people to think we don't get along? Do we get along? Well, I want to, for what it's worth. What it's worth to you is my name, not me. Are you really gonna be like that? I went out of my way to take you to your favorite play. At least you could do is be a little kinder to me. What is it called again? Romeo and Juliet? It's been running for 6 or 7 years now. A family like yours or mine could pay to have a brand new script written. So why should we have to see an old play in a theater full of commoners? Ugh, commoners. It may be private, but even so. I would rather just have a show put on at my estate. Stop talking already. Why should I have to marry someone like you? I have absolutely no desire to marry you. Whatever it takes, I will put a stop to this. I'll talk to father as many times as I must. Please don't make such a scene, it's shameful. There are people around, remember, you represent your family. Besides, our families are hardly strangers to one another. Try as you might, I doubt you can get rid of me. Unless you wanna, go to my bedside and choke me to death. No matter what you say, you can't break this engagement. Till death do us part. Well, time to get a knife. Time to become an assassin. You don't. Your parents gave you, too much freedom, and look at what a spoiled little girl you became because of it. Goodness, you're going to be quite the handful. Now get off your high horse. No, you're the one on the high horse, Nellie. You're going to be my wife. You could at least put some effort into liking me. What happens when I take you to a social engagement? You act like this. It's shameful to the both of us. It's coming from someone who used to call me Lady Nellie. What's your problem? When you choose to act like a lady, I'll gladly call you that again. Goodness gracious. Put yourself in my shoes for a second. I have to marry a bratty little girl because it will help my family. How dare you talk about me that way? You're not a damn princess. Open your eyes. If you think you're talking to your father will get you out of this marriage, you're welcome to try. I doubt he'll have it, though. Otherwise, you can just go complain about it to your friends. Oh, that's right. As far as I'm aware, you don't have any friends. Wow! Enough! As you wish. This is so frustrating. Why should I have to listen to this jerk mock me? Have Mel. I know. If Father won't listen to me, I'll ask Mel to talk to him. Mel will be able to convince him. Come on now, your fair play is about to start. Maybe you should face forward. Enjoy it well, lass. You won't be talking down to me much longer. Just kill him, you know, it's easy. What? Is that? Wait, Nelly. Get back here. What's that damn child's problem? I give her permission to leave. Father will be sure to hear about this. I cannot have the roads making any more of a fool of me. Me, Arthur. You're fine, don't be shy. But so many people are looking at me. That's because you're gorgeous. No, it's because I look strange. I assure you, that's not the case. Oh, okay, I was wondering what was happening. Mel and I guess the white-haired girl are having their date at the same time, I guess, is what they're doing. It is true that you have an unusual appearance, but right now, the unique color of your hair, your skin, and your eyes all serve to accentuate your beauty. You sound like a prince, Lord Mel. You think so? I mean, I did say I'd be a stand-in prince for you, but I think you're a wonderful prince, not just a stand-in. Which makes you my princess, then. I don't... You're supposed to say yes I am there. You're gonna make me sad. I guess I'll just have to keep working it until you submit. Oh hey, the play's about to start. What am I supposed to be doing? Nothing in particular. Just sit back and enjoy the show. Oh, but there is one thing. Yes? If I still start dozing off, could you maybe wake me up? Hahaha. I can't do fake laughter. Whenever there's like laughter in the dialogue I have to read out loud, I'm like hee hee hee, because I don't know, I can't just laugh spontaneously. It's hard to do. Anyway, nah. What? Dearest Mel. Nelly? Dearest Mel, what are you doing here? I asked her to join me. It's nothing to get worked up over. It is. It absolutely is. How many times did I ask you to come with me and you wouldn't? You don't even like theater, dearest Mel. You brought her? You're right. I'm not especially fond of plays, but I want her to be able to see one. Why are you making such a big deal out of this, Nelly? She's not suitable for you. What? She isn't good enough for you. Why would you choose her? She's creepy. You have no idea where she came from. Don't talk about her like that, Nelly. But you don't even know who her family is. I do. What? Lord Mel? It's fine. You just stay quiet. Like the other maid, she comes from a respectable house. I looked into it. However, circumstances prevent me from telling you what house that is. No, you're lying. That can't be. She doesn't act like a lady. She lacks etiquette and she probably can't even dance, you know? You expect me to believe someone like her is from a good house? Enough already, Nelly. Mel yelled at me. You have my word. You don't have to worry about her. So please, stay out of this, Nelly. It isn't any of your business if I spend time with her, is it? But dearest Mel, you need to stop hanging all over me, Nelly, and find someone for... Wait, what are you doing at the theater? Are you here alone? Oh yes, dearest Mel, about that. I have a favor to ask of you. I've been waiting to talk to you about this since yesterday, but I haven't seen you at all. Settle down, Nelly. What is it? Father had me engaged without consulting me, and you picked Arthur, that is disagreeable little... Oh, right, that. I already know. What? I heard it from Father. That reminds me, you didn't show up at breakfast this morning. I see now. It was because of your engagement. Dearest Mel. Is that who you were here with today? In that case, you should get back to him, rather than waste any more time with us. You knew I didn't want to get married, Mel, so why? Why do you talk father out of it? Because it's your time, Nelly. If there's someone else you'd rather be with, then, well, you can try persuading father, but... You're the only prince for me, dearest Mel. And the prince always grants his princess's wishes, doesn't he? I just wanted you to say you'll do that for me, dearest Mel. Lady Nelly, you stay out of this. It's all your fault, you... I don't know. I was gonna, you know, it's probably in your character to say, it's all your fault, you little bitch. You know, is what I would imagine she would say. Anyway, it's all because you showed up and played your little tricks on him. Look, it's Nelly saying it, not me. I'm not swearing, she is. I warned you about this rat, dearest Mel. She's not suitable for... I told you I have enough already. Wow. Slapping sound effect. How much longer are you gonna continue acting like a child? I can deal with you being a spoiled little girl, but how dare you be so derisive to someone else? Mel hit me, yelling and hitting? My god. Or Mel. Go on. The show's about to start. People are giving us dirty looks. Return to your betrothed, now. I will apologize to him afterwards as well. You said you'd always be by my side. That you would always be my prince. The time for make-believe is past, Nelly. No. No! I refuse to believe it. I will not have it. Nelly! My goodness, that girl. Are you not going to go after her, Lord Mel? No, just let her go. The only place she even has to go is home. I just wish she'd start acting a little bit more like an adult. I imagine Lady Nelly simply... She what? No, it just wasn't my intention to get between you. And don't blame yourself. It's not your fault we had an argument. But you two are so close. Well, yeah, we're siblings, so we're close, but nothing more. I don't think that's how she feels. I do care about Nelly, and I enjoy spending time with her, but she's my sister, nothing more. Anyway, sorry for making such a scene. No, I imagine she left her betrothed behind without saying anything, so I'm gonna go apologize to him. We have to keep up appearances. Stay here, I'll be right back. Very well. Okay. I mean, so far, okay, I mean, I feel like, I don't know, I really wasn't really, I didn't really know what I was getting into when I started playing this visual novel, but I guess so far we're really just focusing on, I guess, you know, aristocratic nobility and like love triangles and, you know, political messiness, I guess. I guess we're just focusing on that. I don't know. By the way, this game does have the content warning said something about gore, though. Or maybe not gore necessarily, but like graphic violence. So like, you know, I don't know. Is this gonna escalate to that point? Now or later? Anyway, Master, what are your thoughts on the tale so far? Well, so far it's kind of like a, you know, I guess it's basically like a romance, drama, you know, kind of story, except in a medieval setting, but not really medieval. What do you call it? It's not really medieval. It's like after medieval, like Renaissance-ish, that kind of era. I don't know. Again, I'm really bad at, you know, remembering how like each, I guess, era would be like, you know, like in the 1600s, like what was that? Like, is it during like the gunpowder era, maybe? I don't know. Anyway. What are your thoughts so far? Which of the siblings do you think was in the right, Master? The brother or the sister? Oh my, I do apologize for the abrupt question. Did I startle you? What do I think? Yes. I believe Mel was probably right. He was also surely happier than her. As Mel had anticipated, Nellie fled from the theater, leaving her fiancé behind. She forced her way to a carriage stopped outside, probably one call for a different nobleman, and ordered it to take her home. She stole someone else's taxi, basically. Mel's assumption was correct. The only place she had to return to was the mansion. The sun was beginning to set, and as a young lady, she could not simply go wandering through town alone. Nor did she have any acquaintances to take her in. Her role was in essence composed of two elements, her brother and the rose garden. They were the light of her life at the Rose Manor. She lived a very isolated existence. She's just sobbing. When she escaped back home, Nellie went straight to her door, locked the door, and began sobbing. Yes. The waves of her sorrow came crashing effortlessly over the levees. Levees? Tears streaming through the cracked walls of dams blocked her tear ducts. Or blocking her tear ducts, rather. Why? Why won't you help me, Mel? Why won't you take my side? The decor in her room appeared blurry through her damped eyes. Memories of the day she had redecorated played back in her mind with crystal clarity. She told me she had no feelings for you. That liar. Usoda. She let her emotions run wild, breaking glass craftwork, silver plates designed by famous foreign artisans, flower vases, all sorts of things. It was as though a beast had been set loose in her bedchamber. The vase she tossed shattered against the painting hanging on the wall, spraying water, porcelain, and roses in every direction. It was a portrait she adored so dearly, of her and her brother. It would appear to her like a metaphor for her life. The frame fell off its mounting and came crashing to the floor. Nellie darted over and scooped it up. The frame had broken, but the painting inside was unharmed. Again, the art for the painting doesn't look all that great, to be honest. Yeah. The two smiling children were still the very image of happiness, inseparable siblings gently holding one another's hand. My prince is no more. Though in her present state of mind, that image of happiness brought her nothing but misery. And the worse she felt, the more frustrated she grew with the smiling girl and kind boy of her past. The princess is no more either. You're not a princess anymore, Nellie. Some other woman has taken your place. I trust you, Mel. I believe you will always be there for me. This painting is nothing but a lie. That's not the real Mel. That's not the real me. It's all a big fat lie. A lie. Wah. I wish this painting never existed. That was never made. I never had a brother. Be careful what you wish for. This painting. Okay. I guess she... I assume she was ripping the painting, but I guess it's not like a photo, I guess. Like, it's on like a thing, so I guess she's maybe just scratching the canvas of the painting. Anyway. In a fit of emotional distress, she scratched feverishly at the painting she once considered precious. She put more force into her fingers than she, or perhaps anyone, might have imagined she could. Flakes of paint began falling off the canvas, and in time she noticed something peculiar. What is it? Huh? What? What is this writing? Something's hidden beneath the paint? Just a little more. Okay, is it a secret code or something? A date? Oh, okay. Why would that be hidden? What could it be for? Completed May 1587. 1587? She read out loud the faded, scratched-up handwriting. After staring blankly at the text for some time, the color in her face began to drain. What is this? How could this have been painted 16 years ago? Yeah, that wouldn't make sense, because she's 14. And so, if it was 16 years ago, then it would make no sense, because she wasn't born then. I wasn't even born yet then, and Mel would have been just a baby. Is this not me? This is not Mel. There's still more writing. Urged on by her rapidly pounding heart, Nellie furiously scratched away the painting. Okay, well, this is strange. What a strange, revelation. Even as her clean pink fingernails were soiled by fragments of paint and blood, she did not stop. She was so overwhelmed by trepidation that she could not stop. She had a horrible premonition that something was about to happen, something indescribable, incomprehensible. This is how I envision your son and our unborn daughter might look several years from now. Your son and our unborn daughter. So this is a painting of the future. And it really is of me and Mel. No, use your head, stupid. I'm only 14. 16 years ago, I would not have been inside Mother. I don't know. It's like, I guess how long does a pregnancy last? I guess, yeah, it can't be more than a year, so... Unless there was like a really strange pregnancy that lasted 2 years somehow. Not 2 years, rather 14, 16 is... No, it's 2 years, yeah, 2 year difference. I don't know. Math. I can't even do, subtraction quickly. I'm just that bad at math. Anyway. But then, who is this? Who is that holding Mel's hand? Who is that with my brother? More, there has to be. Ow. Found it. There's more writing. I have to know what this is. Calm down, Nelly. It's nothing to get worked up over. I'm sure it's nothing. Calm down, Reed. There's nothing to worry about. If our unborn child... This is what the writing on the painting said. If our unborn child does not have your hair color, then you will probably not be able to take her in as your own. I will be punished and my life made miserable. And so I pray that this child might have flaxen hair. Though it is a sin to wish she has in her a trace of me, I do hope it is a girl. Wait a minute. So basically, was the painter banging the mistress? Is what I'm thinking. Wait a minute. Chotto mate. What am I reading? I don't get it. Someone tell me, what does this mean? A painting from 16 years ago. Hair color. Sin. I do hope it is a girl? Ah. It's white. But wait a minute. That means there's a little bit of, blood relation. Which is actually not that, it's actually not that surprising for nobility, This was always a thing where they would sometimes even marry their cousins and everything, so, I mean... But I guess, in that case, it would make the white-haired girl would be like a half-sister to, I guess, Mr. Mel, But then where does Nelly come from in that case? Maybe Nelly is like, she's probably like a true sister, like full sister in that case. She's like another girl that was born after the white-haired girl in that case, maybe? But anyway. It's Nelly, let me in. I'm going to kill you now. Lady Nelly? I'm totally gonna murder you. Oh, you changed out your dress. That's a shame, it looked nice on you. It really did look so nice. Too bad it won't be stained with your blood. Aha, no, okay. Almost like you were a princess. Lady Nelly? Say, I've got a question for you, do you mind? By all means. What color hair do your father have? I beg your pardon? Did you not hear me? Should I repeat the question? No. I assumed it would be about Lord Mel. I'm just so curious about where you got that white color from. My father was more tan than white, so I didn't inherit my paleness from anyone. I asked about your father's hair color. Why would you want to? There's no reason you can't tell me, is there? My father, had white hair. But that was simply because he was an older man. I do not think he was born with... Ha! Lady Nelly? It's evil, maniacal laughter. Hey, guess what? I figured it out. I figured it all out. It was so simple. There's only one difference between you and me. The thing that Mel fell for is... Why do you have those? No, stay back. Time to get a haircut. Shave it all off, I guess. Well... we have finally reached this point in the tale, Master. If your memory has been refreshed, then we can return to the mansion immediately. Very well then. If you insist, Master, we shall proceed with the story. It was a stormy night, much like the one the white-haired girl had first arrived on. It was quiet as a crypt in the mansion, not a single light visible in the halls. The house sat in wait for the sun to peek out over the horizon. The darkness is, generally speaking, something that rushes by like a gust of wind as we sleep. The flaxen-haired young man, too, lay in bed, pale blue moonlight sporadically streaming through the gaps in his drawn velvet curtains as he attempted to submit to slumber. I keep saying flaxen, but I don't know, is it pronounced flaxen? Flakesen, maybe? It doesn't sound right. Well, he was having difficulty drifting off, but as time trickled onward, he drew closer and closer to the arms of Morpheus. That guy from The Matrix? No. Actually, I think Morpheus is, I believe, a Greek god, I think? I could be wrong. Anyway. Suddenly, he sensed a presence in the room, much like the one from those nights from weeks earlier. Is someone there? Yet again? Is it another girl trying to kill me? Answer me! A slender, feminine finger pressed gently against his lips. There was no hostility in the motion, but rather a great deal of affection. The silhouette faintly visible in the dark room was the same as that night. A flash of lightning shone through the drawn curtains, illuminating her beautiful white hair. Several silky locks spilled over her shoulders and brushed against Mel's cheeks. But, I mean, about that scene we saw just earlier, though. A couple of soft puffs of air tickled his face, as though she were silently laughing. He assumed her finger, held against his lips, was her way of telling him to stay quiet. She began to slowly, delicately trace the outline of his mouth, moving down his cheek and along his jawline as if over porcelain. You're, rather more forward than I remember. Well, I suppose you were quite daring. This isn't the first time you sneak into my bedchamber. Oh, that is funny. Telling that to, well, let's see. The boy said in an attempt to conceal his surprise. Do you remember the night she came to exact revenge on him for her father? Indeed, she had proven herself to be a rather bold girl once already. A bold girl. Bald girl? Well, it's dark. I can't see you very well. Why don't I light a lamp, or perhaps we can open the... Before he could finish, the white-haired girl sealed his lips with her own. In the near total darkness of his bedchamber, the two shadows appeared as one. They remained that way for several minutes. Their kiss was innocent, no more than pressing together the two pairs of lips. At the same time, the white-haired girl lovingly ran her fingertips across his skin. When their lips separated, Mel gasped for air, as seemed he'd been holding his breath. Slightly embarrassed himself, he said, "Dearest Mel." Okay. Nothing. He could not speak. The silhouette hanging above him was certainly the white-haired girl's. Or was it? Because his next words were, "Get off me!" He reflexively shoved the girl straddling him aside. He rolled off the bed, landing on the cold floor, but slowly, gradually, she crawled her way back toward him. Well, that wasn't very nice. Veiled in darkness, she slowly lifted her head, and then there was another flash of lightning. The heavy fabric of curtains rustled, bolts of light streaming between the gaps. Okay, this is just creepy. How do you... I mean, you know, maybe you should have just simply dyed your hair? I don't know, Nelly. I don't know about... I think what she did was cut, you know, the other girl's hair off, and then glued it on hers? I don't know how that works. It works perfectly well. I mean, I guess it's kind of like a wig. Anyway, I don't know how you did that so perfectly, though. Her flaxen irises glimmered, though in the bluish-white light they took on a twinge of an almost golden glow. No need to be so rough. This isn't the first time she's visited your bedchamber, is it, Mel? Or did I not kiss you the same way? Tell me, how does she run her fingers across her skin? What does she do when she noses up to you? Stop! Stop this madness, Nelly! How would you do this? Because you like white hair, don't you, Mel? You like white hair, which is why you fell for her, isn't it? So if I have white hair, then you'll fall for me too. Then I could be your princess again, dearest Mel. What? What are you even talking about? He cannot escape from her, from his sister's piercing gaze. What happened? How could she? Questions crashed into the young man's mind like waves in a stormy sea. But none of them found answers. They simply caused him further perplexity. Perplexity? Your hair? What happened to your hair? How did you get it that color? Oh, this? You like my wig? Like you like my wig? It's a new wig. But as soon as the words left her mouth, Mel was in motion, propelled by pure instinct. He clenched Nellie's shoulders tight enough to dig his fingers into her flesh. You're hurting me, Mel. What did you do to her? Tell me, what did you do? I made her leave. It was a perfectly reasonable decision. He was obviously not nobility and thus hardly fit to be part of this household. There's no need to worry, Mel. I'm here to take her place. You sound like a mad woman, you sound yandere. It doesn't matter if she was of noble blood or not. She promised she would stay by my side. So why? How could you do that to her? I promised you that long before she ever did. And I love you far more than she did, Mel. Have you lost your damn mind? You're not making any sense. Where is she now? What is she doing? It's always her with you. What more could you want from me? Tell me, what does she have that I don't? What do I have to get you to focus on me and only me? We're siblings. Don't you understand what you're doing? Oh, I understand it quite well. Far better than you do, dearest Mel. I even know that a former queen was executed for it. But if we don't get caught, there's no problem. Okay. As long as you don't get caught. Nelly, are you saying that you've always felt this way about me? Like 14. Like, you should grow up a little bit and maybe understand that that's totally weird. You didn't notice, dearest Mel. You truly are a dense one. I guess romance just isn't your strong suit. But you've noticed now, haven't you? You know exactly how I feel about you, right? I quit it. Enough. Don't say anything else. Stop having these insane feelings for me. It's disgusting. What are you laughing about? Poor Mel. Content to your complete ignorance. Alright, I'll tell you everything. I mean, you already know. As the reader, I already know what Nellie's gonna say, but it's called dramatic irony. Mel, you can only love blood-related women. Huh? His cackling sister appeared to him like some kind of inhumane life form. Or inhuman life form. Her actions and incomprehensible exclamations slowly drained him of his strength. What kind of deranged nonsense is that? I love her. She's your sister, Mel. Very funny. How far out of your mind have you gone, Nelly? You're my sister, not her. Poor Mel. You honestly know nothing? Say that her father was a painter. He painted pictures for a living. What of it? For a time, her father painted for a family. You see the picture before, dearest Mel? The one hanging in my room of the two of us. That was painted by her father. He did a good job, didn't he? I kept asking and asking till you finally agreed to hold my hand. And how did you feel about that? You were rather embarrassed, weren't you? You remember that day, dearest Mel? You couldn't possibly remember it. But there's a chance you might remember this. Before we moved to this mansion, we had a painter with white hair. I don't remember any such thing. He was long ago. A painter in the service of the Rose family. But that painter did something very, very bad, and because of that, he couldn't remain part of the household. Do you know what he did, Mel? He left Mother. My father was chased from your house. If the child had been born with flaxen hair, then the painter would not have been thrown out. The baby would have been accepted as part of the family, but that wasn't how it turned out. The child had white hair. She didn't look at all like she carried the Rose family blood. But see, Mother had me. That I'm here is all the proof you need. The girl born 16 years ago did not have flaxen hair. Up until his last breath, he was only ever concerned about me. He held me in his arms and ran his hands through my hair, an apologetic look on his face. You're talking total nonsense. What proof do you have? If you want to see it, I'll gladly show you. The artist left a message in the painting in my room. Tell me, am I truly wrong? I mean, it's circumstantial evidence. Just because it says on the painting doesn't mean it's true. What did that girl tell you? You're lying. What part of it is a lie, Mel? Everything I'm telling you is the truth. Why don't you go ask the Mother? I'm sure she would throw quite the fit. Mother wouldn't. The mistress did not send me away when she saw me. Oh, that, well, yeah. I kind of like, that's part of the reason why, I guess the mistress of the house allowed, the white-haired girl to, be a maid and everything, I guess. Now, the girl thought she did not know her, but the mother did, so that's why. Anyway, quite the opposite. She took me in as a servant. It never made sense to me. Why would she hire a maid she knew nothing about, someone who just showed up at the door one day? When I asked Mother to make her my maid, she stubbornly refused. And from a good house, don't make me laugh. If she were really nobility, she would have given us her name. Mother was so desperate to cover up her mistake. That doesn't make any sense. I don't believe a word you're saying. It couldn't possibly be true. Wouldn't it be nice if you could bury your head in the sand? But Mel, feigning ignorance is a sin. No, I refuse to believe it. Not a chance in hell. You just don't understand anything. How I feel, how much I've suffered. I don't know, relatively... I don't know, you had a good life, Nelly, actually. All things considered, you are part of the nobility and everything, and for your entire life, did not have want to, you didn't starve, and you didn't, get anything you wanted, really. For the most part, compared to like a homeless person on the streets. I don't know, man. Well, you live a pretty good life. Do you have any idea how long I loved you? Knowing that you would never accept my affection? It's like I'm like the childhood friend, waifu in like a harem anime, or whatever. But then, fancy that, you fell in love with your half-sister. Then I should qualify for your love too. Shouldn't I, Mel? I think I heard a little laughter there in the background. Stop it, enough, shut your mouth. Not another word. I don't believe any of this. Mel! I know you'll never love me. I know there's nowhere for me to run. Say, when we were kids, was that really me? Was I really by your side, Mel? If that painting tells the whole truth, I was never once did I get to be your princess. Not even once. I wonder what happened to the girl. I mean, either she's bald, or... she's either bald and alive, or she's bald and dead. Anyway, dearest Mel, everyone just loves to dot on me. They're always telling me how pretty I am. Mother does, father does, and all the maids do too. I can do anything I want, so for me, acting like a spoiled child is the only form of rebellion I have. I don't have the kind of freedom you do, Mel. I'm just a doll for the family to play with. When I have visitors, it's only ever for show, so it's not my fault that I don't have any friends. Dearest Mel, You're the only one who's ever cared about me more than anything in the world. Dearest Mel, I always knew how I would react if you fell in love. I would cry my eyes out. I would envy her to death. I would get angry as a bull. But eventually I would have given up. I knew I could never have it my way after all, not like McDonald's. My feelings would never bear fruit. So why did she have to be your sister? Tell me, why?